everybody, and welcome to Command Value 1. I hope you enjoy the next hour as much as I've enjoyed this hand-ground cup of French roast coffee to my side. With me, as ever, is Donald and Jordan.
Hello.
Hey,
Hi, Jordan.
Oh, Jordan's too busy stuffing his face with ice cream to talk to us.
Really throwing that in there, yeah?
Hi, everybody, and Happy New Year. A little late in the month. No, we're about halfway through the month. We're fine. We're doing good, on time. So, hi, guys. Welcome back. Happy New Year. How was your festivities?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Quiet this year, actually. So, with the recent move, I'm a bit further away from my family than I have been in years past. So, we actually got to enjoy the entire Christmas day in our jammies. So, that was nice. Not having to go to 10 different houses.
So quiet, you could hear a Gordo eating ice cream.
So, the town where we're in now, they dress up the downtown. They're all two, 3 blocks of it. With lights and all that, and they do parades, so it's very I don't know,
Festive.
Yeah, Americana.
Jordan, how are your holidays?
I kind of have to echo Don's sentiments there. Moving 2 hours away from home, it's kind of quieted the holidays. A few less get-togethers this year, but overall it was nice getting together with family and seeing people that I now am not seeing quite as often as I had before. So,
What about you, Derek?
Mine was craze balls because on the 23rd, my wife hosted a children's Christmas party for 2 different groups of friends. So there were
You poor
9
bastard.
kids, 10 and under, rampaging through my house on the 23rd, which we had to then clean up and then get the house ready and a massive meal ready for my family on the 24th. And then the 25th, we got to spend the morning in our jams before rushing off to her mom's for Christmas. So,
hey, those couple of days before New Year's weekend were pretty good, though, right?
Yeah, but I had this goofy-looking bastard in my house. Yeah, Scordo came and visited for the New Year's. He ended up having to crash at my place because he promised my daughter Zombicide and then didn't deliver.
Oh, man.
So he had to stay over and play Zombicide the next day.
And we played Zombicide, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I am just about halfway through Wolfsburg now, and I have 24 orcs left to paint, and I have all Black Plague done, or Green Horde done.
That's not bad at all.
No, man, I am batch painting the hell out of that, but I guess we can talk about that in hobby.
Yeah, okay.
So what's new? Nothing. Nothing is new at all. The holidays have pretty much put a halt on the release of any new product, and I think that's kind of normal for most places. Don, is there anything special gearing up at TT we should know about, or?
Our terrain line is going to start powering forward pretty soon here. I know we will be putting out quite a few new items per month. One I know one area we're kind of lacking in is historical, and we're going to be bumping that up a bit. So for all you World War II players and all those kinds of games, hopefully we'll have a lot more product in store for you guys at that point.
Yay!
Yeah. And good news is that I did hear from Carl over at Game Time Miniatures, and he's going to be bringing on some of our terrain line.
Yeah, he does a fantastic job of keeping all the TT stuff in stock. Someone on the Drop Zoner Fleet community posted about that. And then, of course, they're like, well, he's out of stock on everything. And I'm like, Jesus, the guy sells stuff. I'm sorry.
So, but yeah, it's good. And then we like Carl. We definitely miss his storefront. So hopefully, maybe one day we'll see another one from him.
Regardless, Carl, good on you for being able to support this community stateside.
For sure. Very much appreciated. In fact, I asked him to send me some business cards that I can have on hand at shows. So
I don't know if Carl listens, but if he does, thanks.
Yeah. All right.
Well, let's hop on into the hobby. Jordan, have you done anything?
Still slowly unpacking. Not really paint related, but hobby related. I I got my specially made board game shelves just this past week. I got those together, and I'm finally unboxing my 10 boxes of board games.
Sweet. My hobby section is nil, actually. We've been so busy working on the Battle for Earth stuff that I've been on the computer pretty much every day doing that.
Shh. You can't talk about that.
So I've been communicating with all the people helping me out with all that stuff and trying to get together all the bits and pieces and then communicate those over to Dave when I have information that I think he needs to see. So that's been about it. Unfortunately, my desk has been kind of neglected and probably a little dusty, actually. So I look forward to getting out there soon, though.
Who's painting Carnivale, if not you?
I do have Fox working on a faction for me, and then I have to get out there probably a few days this week to try to burn through.
Fox is good enough to paint for him.
Jesus.
I guess I can't say I've ever seen Fox's work done.
Well, then maybe you should ask him.
maybe I will.
Dare I say, it's
show us your work.
So, but I appreciate him helping me out. It's a lot of work to do. It's not going to get done like I wanted to, but I mean, nothing ever gets done when you want it to. So there's always a stack of crap that needs done on the desk. So something always has to sit behind, unfortunately.
Not me. I'm painting all over the place.
Yeah, you got
like I said,
really churning them out.
Balls deep in Green Horde, man. I got all the heroes done. I got the Orc Abomination, the Necromancer done. I got Trebuchet done. And I have 10 more orcs on the corks ready to get sprayed, and then I got, let me look here, 14 left after that. So I will be done with Green Horde before the end of this week.
Yeah, and then you did some more of your bolt action too, didn't you?
I have an entire 2-player starter set assembled and painted.
All right.
You clock them up pretty good too, so it's not just slacking off, just doing a paint job, skipping out. You dressed them up pretty good.
Dressed you up.
Did a good job.
The orcs?
No, the bolt action.
Bolt action.
My U.S. paratroopers are a lot better than my Panzer Grenadiers. My airborne got started after Don ridiculed my painting. So I felt I had something to prove.
Hey, I'm a motivational speaker. How can I say?
Yeah. Yeah. You're a dick. No.
So you do all your painting in a van down by the river? Is that what you do?
Painting minis in a van down by the river. Well, that's it for hobby. Oh, I got you know what? I'm really excited about this. You guys may not care or know, but I was on Amazon the other day, dicking around, and you searched this, so you might be interested in, came up, and there was a copy of Zombicide Black Plague Hero Box 1. That probably doesn't mean anything to either of you.
Did you, didn't you do the Kickstarter for Black Plague?
I did not. I kickstarted Invader, but I missed both Black Plague and Green Horde. I discovered Black Plague when Green Horde's Kickstarter was just wrapping up.
Okay, so you didn't get all the extra shit for it.
Yeah, I didn't have the funds to kick in on it. But Hero Box 1 came out with Black Plague. And I looked for it at Origins and Gen Con last year. And they didn't have it. They're like, it's out of print. And some dude had 2 copies of it for $30.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm buying that. So I ordered that, and it showed up, and I'm sitting here with 5 more heroes to paint. I'm all giddily excited about getting to those.
How good were their celebrity, quote unquote, lookalikes for that one? Because Zombicide's always had the famous people in there.
So Black Plague actually had the Knights of the Round Table from Monty Python and Holy Grail.
Okay.
and like you know exactly who is who.
Okay.
Of course, they always change names. Like the wizard Tim is Bob.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, if you thumb through that Kickstarter, you can clearly identify a lot of them.
Now, a lot of those are the Kickstarter exclusive stretch goals because they know that past that, they'd probably get cease and desisted.
Right. The celebrity guest boxes are usually just guys that design stuff for the game, not necessarily like looking like anybody. Like I bought for Black Plague, I bought the Neil Adams box because I like Neil Adams on Batman, so I thought, oh, cool, I'll buy his box. He got a Conan and Valeria looking mini in them, which I really liked, and the other two I didn't care for, so painted the two I liked and let the other two sit in the box.
Cool.
But there are a few of those celebrity boxes I've looked at. And I'm like, I want to buy that just to paint those guys.
Was there tell me there was a Highlander.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. It seems like it would be a good opportunity.
I was just looking at the Invader box set today, and some minis in that were giving me a chuckle, like Starbuck from the new Battlestars in there.
There would only be one of them. Sure.
Highlander is a documentary shot in real time. But anyway, how do we digress in the zombie side here?
Because it was your hobby talk.
Yes, it was. It was my hobby talk. This is all my fault.
It's an actual bullet point.
It is. It is. Look at that. You should flog the guy that writes these episode guides.
Hey, we're here to talk about gaming, so.
I mean, isn't that what happens every time we play Drop Zone?
Oh.
God, why are you a dick, Jordan? You know what? I recall the last time we played Drop Zone, I flogged you.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's no fun if one can't trash talk, though. So.
Yeah, no, but normally we battle report it. Whenever we battle report it, I seem to get my butt kicked by you. But the one time we can't battle report, oh, look who gets curb stomped, Gordo. It's my lot in life.
All right, switch over to game caps here, or game recaps.
No, Don, you made me move that. Let's talk about.
We're doing community.
Let's
first.
talk about the community.
Sorry.
Overlord Shivak posed a difficult question to the command value on community, asking what command value you use in Drop Zone and Drop Fleet. To which I replied, command value 1.
If you're playing UCM Zone, then yes.
Right, because the deck sucks. I'm very vanilla at this. I go 3 in Zone at 1500. It's not a conversation. It's not a question. I don't go below it. I don't go above it.
Which is kind of odd because PHR had the best cards. So I would play at least 4 if I was playing PHR in Zone.
Yeah, well, so here's the thing. If I'm running a Zeus, it's never going to be in the sphere of influence. And if I'm running a Tiamat, it'll always be in the sphere of influence. So.
Need some better scout options.
Well, I've got Valkyries, but those are usually involved in CQBs.
Yeah.
So other than that, it's Janus and Mercury drones. And when was the last time you saw someone take Janus?
I see them. People like to fill in their points at the end of those. Just squeeze them in there. I mean, they're not going to do much, but they might get a couple shots on some aircraft. So, but personally,
you can't see my face staring blankly at you.
It depends on whose aircraft they're shooting at, whether or not they can.
True, yeah. If you're shooting the wrong zone,
right. If they're shooting at Scourge and UCM, they're fine.
Yeah.
Fleet, I will take a 4 usually because it's basically free. But if I've got the points, which I oftentimes do, I'll bump it up to a 5 because the Fleet deck for the PHR is really good.
Yeah, I do kind of like to get the bonus in Fleet. Unfortunately, there's no way to really work around that in Zone because there's specific units you don't have to use the command units, but everybody does. So,
yeah, I think I try to get 4 in Zone, and it's not that I think that the Resistance deck is not that strong because I think the cards are only conditionally useful most of the time.
Initiative for Resistance is that strong, though.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's actually the point I was getting to. It's activation orders. Mm-hmm. It's very key.
And I read a battle report somewhere where that was someone's basic analysis. Like, you're having trouble fighting Resistance, up your command value and go before them.
Same way for you, as Jordan said. I'm resistance player too, and I definitely take command value for not because of the cards, but because you do really need those activations. Especially when you get like a drill or something like that, and you need to get those units doing something before they get to an unusable state.
Right. What do you guys do for fleet?
Well, I really like the UCM Dreadnoughts, so it's an easy free 5. So.
Yeah, 4 or 5 for fleet for me as well, depending on what. Because I play UCM as well, so it's going to be somewhere in the 4 or 5 range. 5 if it's free, like a Dread, like Jordan just said. But yeah, when I played Scourge, I think the command decks in fleet are a little better overall than the zone one. So
they are.
Most people tend to go with a higher command value. Plus, you can easily get to 4 without spending a lot of money on it because of the upgrade. So
well, and no sphere of influence in fleet makes your deck a lot more usable.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, also the cost of your commander is much lower in fleet.
So yeah, I'll be looking. Go ahead, Jordan. Sorry.
Even with the battleship, there's the bonus. You only get you have to spend 20 points to get a CV4 with a battleship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's easier to squeeze that higher CV in.
I'll be looking to level the playing field for commanders and version 2 for drop zone as well, so we can play. I still have to do that, but we need to play around to good, even, consistent point value for everybody, so we're not whatever faction you're playing, it's the same for everybody. So
right. Well, that was a quick community topic.
Go to second portion of that.
Yes. So, Don, were you involved in that conversation? There was
I was.
There was this conversation in the drop zone thread that basically revealed this idea that there are members of the player base that seem to think of the Tiamat as like the new boogeyman. That she's a very broken and difficult to deal with model, and she's no slouch. I'll say that as a PHR player, I like the unit.
So should we explain for those, because this question seems to come up every once in a while too. Just should we
You're
trust
absolutely right.
Do we trust all our listeners know what the Tiamat is?
The Tiamat is the righteous fury from heaven that the White Sphere has granted to the Republic forces fighting in the Reconquest. It is the standard version of the Aurelia Felix Special Commander model, and the stats for that Don released during the Michigan Grand Tournament. Those stats are available in the Drop Zone Commander community on Facebook, as well as I believe the Ohio Drop Zone Drop Fleet group. Don, are they in the Michigan group?
I didn't post them there, no, but they're still up on if you go to the Michigan GTU website, they're still under the headline for the player packets.
Right. And that was just one of the units included in that player pack. The Super Phoenix for the UCM was in there. The
Pizarro for the
Pizarro, yeah. The new Ramses Standard Edition model for the Shaltari was in there.
Jungle Devil Standard Edition for the Scourge.
Yeah. There were several of the new, what we'll be seeing in Battle for Earth models, beta statted out in there.
Yeah, so basically every famous commander that is usable outside of their super famous commander form, we are putting into the game as standard units so that you're getting more use out of that model. So you can play as the famous commander, or you can use it in a normal game under the new rule set.
So, like the ones that are 99% like similar to an existing alternate sculpt, there isn't new stats for, like Alexander and Salakan.
Yeah, there really wasn't a need to do a second like Alexander model, because that one was that one isn't far enough different from the actual Alexander.
Yes. Weapons are the same.
So in a way, we almost did that in reverse, where you could use, technically we could have just used the silicon model, but that wasn't the thought process back when they did those. So same thing with Carl Foley. Because there's two different versions of the Hellhog now going in the second edition, you actually are going to probably want to, because you can have one that stays on the board and one that does your fast mover runs, your airstrike runs. So there's definitely uses for every model. The one that's kind of sitting on the backfield right now is not the Nemesis, but what's the other Hades variant?
No, that's
Marcus Barrerio.
Marcus Aurelio, yeah. So there really wasn't another use for that Walker chassis.
No.
I mean, you don't need that many versions of that chassis. So he's sort of sitting in the gray area right now.
However, I do know people that believe that the more six-legged super walkers you can put on the board, the more likely they are to win. So,
well, and if you really want to, he's not so different that you couldn't use that for a Hades or a Nemesis anyway if you like that skull.
Yeah, right, exactly. So if you want a variance on your table, you can use that version of the Walker.
That is the only PHR model I do not own.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll rework them. I don't know. Well, I mean, in the end, we're also going to want the famous commanders to be reworked anyways. I don't know if that's going to be a Battle for Earth release. That might be like a future PDF that we might put together or something like that.
Well, so what is the Tiamat? It is built on the Poseidon chassis, so it is an aircraft. It's armor 6, move 12, active countermeasures with 6 DP at 190 points. It is a command aircraft, squad of 1, landing zone large, and it mounts 2 energy 13, shot 1, accuracy 3, infinite range, fire 36-inch countered with a move fire 6, front arc devastator 2, rail cannons, and let's not forget the all-important stealth missile battery.
Yeah, don't forget that.
Range 36 with a 6-inch move gives this thing a 42-inch threat range on a 6 DP armor 6 chassis aircraft. That sounds really intimidating until you run into a pair of Zhukovs. And it is less intimidating, and you keep your ass back as far as you can.
Right, or a squad of rapiers, or
a pair of archangels.
Yeah, so it's very downable. I mean, the chassis isn't any stronger than any other variant of that chassis. So,
if you address this model from a version 1 point of view, it is devastating and will rule the battlefield. This is just my opinion. If you look at it with version 2 rules and the ease and abundance of fast movers, this model becomes much less intimidating. If I'm a Scourge player, I'm not afraid of this because I've bought at least 3 Corsair runs, and I'm going to obliterate it.
Yeah, and also I think it brings a cool element to the game where you kind of just got to work around it with the terrain provided for you, you know?
But do you? I mean, Corsairs are a solid counter. Any Scourge AA is fantastic and will bring it down if it's in range. It's just a matter of maneuvering to it.
But I'm just saying that you don't have to have attack runs to take it down.
I personally hid mine from a Panther because Panther.
Yeah.
You know, resistance gun wagons have the range if they're coming off the Kraken. They have the range because the thing is, as tempting as it sounds, it's got a 36-inch range fire. I bring it on 12 inches and I never move it again. Well, that's great if you're playing command and control. But anything else you're playing that requires you to move your commander up board, this is a very vulnerable commander.
Well, and the point investment of that, you're going to play aggressive with it. So it's not every game where you're just going to move it on and then you can just freely fire at anything anywhere on the board.
I don't see the Tiamat as any more or less threatening than a Phoenix.
It's got PHR armor and long range guns.
Yeah, but
Let's not go quite that far.
It's got 3 less DP than the Phoenix does.
Mm-hmm.
So while the Phoenix may get hit more, the Phoenix is going to take more hits.
Mm-hmm.
It packs a pair of Energy 12 guns, plus AA guns, plus 2 template guns.
Mm-hmm.
Phoenix is not a slouch.
It isn't.
And the Super Phoenix doesn't suck either.
Yeah, and then some of basically the conversation we want to bring up now is just like, what is the 36-inch range, countered 36-inch range, too much for the game? And I think it's very situational. And I think it comes down to gameplay. Like, if this was like a heavy choice and people could bring 2 of these, then yeah, that'd be insane. But they can only get 1 of these on the table, and anything up to a 2,000 point game or over.
Mm-hmm.
So, dealing with 1 unit that kind of breaks some of the barriers is not as big a deal, in my opinion. Anyways, I've played against Tiamats a lot since we've been playtesting these, and I've never once just like didn't feel like I couldn't handle it, or at least ignore it in some ways. The one thing that does sort of have that I do get a little irritated with is that because the flying commanders have always been able to contribute to focal points and critical locations, zooming that thing up the board sort of like last turn, and then just stealing those points away is a little sucky. But then again, I've also had that happen to me plenty of times by PHR players, just picking up a clump of expensive walkers and plopping them in the way.
Right.
So it's not something new that PHR players have in their repertoire. So
I think it's adorable you describe anything about PHR as zoom.
More of a zoom.
It's kind of like a putter.
So that's my opinions on it. Like I say, it's very situational. You really want to limit those types of things. I don't think that 1 unit that can bend a little bit of the rules is game breaking for the entire game. So,
maybe it's a bit meta or meta, however you really say that, dependent.
It's meta, Jordan.
Is it?
That's how I say it.
But some people play with more or less AA or aircraft in the game. And with version 2, the way that transport tax and all that's working now, I think you'll see more AA because there's more flyers, so it'll become a little more useful.
Yeah, there's more scary things you have to worry about in the air. So,
So the more AA you have, I think the less intimidating the TMAT gets. The other thing for me too, like I was really intimidated by the stats when I saw it. Like, whoa, that's prohibitively good, and I think it is still a really, really good command option for the PHR. But if we're talking about straight out output of firepower, and is it worth its points? How much does a Nord cost?
110.
And how much does a couple of Hades on there? Yeah, I know you have to fill it up to 4, but
you can't put a Hades on a Nord, buddy.
Not Hades, Odins. Sorry.
Odins are 65 a pop.
So
I see where you're going with this, and I don't disagree.
You can get much more firepower, granted at shorter distances overall, but not that much shorter, for around the same points.
Yeah. As a PHR player, I love the Tiamat. I think it's a great model. I was really excited to get it and get it statted and get it on the table and play it. And I enjoy it, and I could find myself taking it on a regular basis. That said, it is not so good that it has turned my eye away from the idea of a Zeus with an Odin and a couple of Enyo on a Nord. And in an all-comer style game or a tournament list where you're looking at an adaptable and usable army across multiple game types, I think that brick in general is still going to be a better command choice with more flexibility and more capability than just a Tiamat is going to be.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I think the accuracy 3-up versus 2-up on the Tiamat 2 is a very subtle.
Well, and range 36 and range 24 are not a huge difference in this game because once you get past the quarter point on the table, you're within 24 inches of everybody anyways, because you can't just stay back. And let's just say you go 3 Odins and a Zeus. That's 7 shots at energy 11, range 24, accuracy 2. That'll bring a lot of stuff down. So while I do think the Tiamat is a great unit and I do enjoy using it as command option, it is not the only command choice for the PHR. It still presents, it's still vulnerable enough to make me look at saying, hey, you know what else might be good? A Hera, a Guardian, and 4 Apollos on a Poseidon. Because with the Poseidon speed boost in version 2, man, that's a solid brick to have up at the 24-inch mark before turn 2 is over.
Yeah, it fills in that command slot too. So I think PHR is pretty good on commanders for a while.
I agree, because no one talks about the Nemesis still.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're starting to get to the point where certain units aren't bad. They're just, there's no way to, without completely recreating it to really make it more appealing than it is.
Nemesis's only problem is it suffers from one-shot syndrome.
Yeah.
And that's, but that's, the Tiamat suffers from that.
Yeah. You got to take all the same options into account when you're thinking about those things. So, I mean, it's got the one-shot syndrome, but it's also got a lot of DP and all that kind of stuff. So it's
8 DP on an Armor 9 Hull for 190 points.
Yeah, I think it's just it's its own worst enemy in that regard. Like, I don't think that was a good choice to put a commander on that chassis, to be honest with you.
Given the difficulty, I don't know if difficulty is the right word, but given the point cost required to field the Hades now, i.e. you're going to have to fill a standard slot to bring a Hades, I think you might see a resurgence in Nemesis.
What if one option is we could maybe change that to a heavy choice.
I don't know that's a terrible heavy choice. I don't know if you have to drop it as a command option completely. I like it as a command walker. I like the option. For a long time, I ran a Nemesis and a Hades.
But you still could.
Yeah, I mean, I still could, but I mean, for a long time, as a player, it was a combo I ran.
Right, I'm saying if it goes to a heavy choice, you could still do that. It wouldn't.
Sure.
It would be more available at that point.
I don't know if as a heavy choice though, I would look at that and say, oh, well, I'm going to take that and a Hades. I would take 2 Hades.
Think you would? Okay, all right.
If it's a, hey, choose between a Nemesis and a Hades, I think the Hades wins every time because 36-inch range is comparable to infinite range, but shot 3 energy 12 versus shot 1 energy 12 Devastator 2.
Yeah.
Oh, and I can heal myself, and I have a medium template weapon, and I have 6, light armor shots. So no, there's no contest between a Hades and a
Why
Nemesis.
not take a Nemesis and 2 Hades?
Points. That's 600 points to your army right there, buddy.
Yeah. Right. At that point, I wonder if a Nemesis couldn't use like some sort of passive buff, because we can't change the weapon tree on it, but maybe we could give it something that it can do.
I don't know that it's a bad unit. I think the problem with the Nemesis is that the PHR has three other really good command choices.
Yeah, it's multiple choice.
Yeah, it's about play style. The Nemesis is great as a unit that you can park. It's like a Kodiak. It's a PHR equivalent of a Kodiak. This is going to park here, and it's going to deny you this area. Do something about it.
Yeah, but I think that's yeah. Now that I'm working with the rules and stuff, I'm always trying to think of ways to get things. It's hard because you want everything to be more usable. That especially when you're doing a second edition. Here's the chance to make it something that people are going to want to get on the table more. But like you're saying, when you have so many options, it's one of them is always going to be at the end of the. So I mean, if you make that too good, then what falls? Then the Hera falls behind. You know what I mean?
Well, I know most people that I played that use the Nemesis, because of its long range, it tended to get walked on. And at saved points, it made it slightly more appealing points-wise for your commander because you didn't have the transport tax, but you're going to kind of be forced into that for version 2, which might make it even less appealing.
And regardless to that, I mean, I know we say version 2 is going to kill that off, but really the advent of critical location missions really killed off the walk-on commander. You couldn't afford to walk a 190-point model with 60-plus points of command value tacked onto it on at 4 inches and hope that you get it to the critical location before the end of the game to score a point.
Yeah, we could reduce the transport tax on those, reduce the burden on those units.
I don't know that it needs it. I think what it comes down to, though, is it's got this giant infinite range laser, so its big benefit is that it's going to range everything. But in a meta that's moved towards focal points and critical locations, you really need your army to be more mobile so you can get up on those points. That's why the Tiamat is such an attractive choice, because it does move 12 inches, and that's not bad, especially for an army like the PHR. Or that's why the Hera is such an appealing choice, because they do have that 12-inch jump, or they've got that drop and jump, and it's mobility now. If you're going to park a Type 4 Walker on a critical location, are you going to park a Hades or are you going to park a Nemesis? You're going to park the Hades. It's a better choice. It's going to shoot more targets with energy 12 shots and strafe. It's going to template the swarms that come at it. It's going to heal itself to keep it in the game. It's just an all-around better choice than a Nemesis. I don't know that you can save that model. That unit. I mean, I'm talking myself out of ever wanting to play it again.
Yeah, I guess that kind of harkens back to, like I said, I just don't think that was a good chassis choice for a command unit.
It's a great model. I love the look of it.
Yeah, it does look really cool. So, but I don't know. We'll take another peek at it soon and see what we can do about it.
Well, this conversation leads kind of straight into the conversation that we were going to have anyways. So we skipped our game recaps because all of the games that we've all been playing, we've been fortunate enough to be beta testing stuff for version 2. And we don't just mean rules. So, Don, I'm not going to say too much more because I don't know what I'm allowed to say. I don't know what Jordan's allowed to say, and I really don't even know what you're allowed to say.
Well, I think we'll approach this in a format of how you deal with new things in a game. So some of the things coming into the book that we haven't been shown yet they're new to the games. So I don't mean that as in like a new unit. I mean that as in like something new for the game that hasn't been in the games yet. And so you have to approach it a lot differently, especially with these, on the zone side particularly. So we take Dave's rough idea and then we try to mold that into something usable within the game. And it's been especially challenging with these last big goodies for zone that we haven't shown anybody yet. So hopefully soon we'll be kind of teasing those and all that. But getting these things to an usable state from where they were has been quite complex, because there's a couple different routes we could have gone down with them, and on top of that, once we sort of decide a route, fine tuning that route, and then you start getting into all the combination issues of, this paired with that is game breaking kind of a stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of the route that we've been going in, and we've really been kind of struggling with these ones, I would say. Do you guys agree?
Well, yeah, Jordan said it well. This is such a change to the game in a way that we haven't seen across 3 books now. It's really hard to talk about this and not say anything about it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
To paint a broad stroke too, there's enough changes with version 2 that, I think that's still settling. So,
mm-hmm.
It's a lot of change all at once, and I think version 2 rules by themselves are going to affect a lot of things, let alone a clump of brand new, never seen before units.
Well put.
Yeah, for sure. So the direction we're taking with these is, and with Zone in general, is I think we're going to be going more digital in the future. So that way we can keep things like more of a living rule book, sort of or living stat line kind of a thing, which I think is the future of gaming in general, because instead of doing a whole new book run, if you do something where the book itself doesn't become obsolete, and then you can change the things that need changing in it digitally, then that helps out a lot and keeps everybody current.
I mean, I got into it and got out of it pretty quickly, but Heavy Gear, DreamPod 9 does that with their Heavy Gear Blitz rules. The rulebook is entirely digital. There's a softcover printed copy that comes in the starter box to get you started, but they regularly update and release updated versions of that rulebook, and you just download it. There's no charge. They make their money on models.
Yeah, the other kind of cool thing, too, is everybody, I mean, there's always going to be the people that want physical copies of the stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. I mean, yeah, exactly. So going digital for at least a portion of it does allow you to do smaller runs of these books as well, too. So you don't need to think about printing on such a massive scale to keep you going for, 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. You can now do smaller runs of it, knowing that not as many people are going to be buying it. And so then when every so often, then you do a new print, and that's when you start doing your 1.2s and all that kind of stuff. So I think that does work out in the end as well on that point of view.
Well, and frankly, as a 5-year now drop zone veteran,
yeah,
I pick up my book for the barrage table and the occasional rule reference.
Yeah.
If I have to carry my iPad with me, that's actually better.
And even then, a lot of that you can get away with just printing out like a quick sheet. So
what?
So all your charts and everything will be on a quick sheet, and then you don't have to really mess with the book too much.
Right.
So, but I think it's a good direction that we're going in, and Carnivale's already kind of touched on it anyways. So I think that's good. And it makes our life a lot easier. So then we can release things. Because, in the past, Hawk always did the experimental rules first, and then before they go to print. And so now with TT Combat, keeping that going, we can actually just introduce the units straight into the game.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I was clearing out some bookshelves the other day, and I found all of my pre-Reconquest Phase 2 experimental unit stats printed out. I was like, oh, I remember when the Medusa was awesome.
Yeah. No, she's still good. She's all right.
I remember when my free riders could move 16 inches.
Yeah, that was a sad change. I do miss that. I definitely have been using them less over the years, but I mean,
I don't know that I've used a Medusa since she got nerfed.
she's still good. She just wasn't.
She's okay.
Like again, I think we're just getting the spoil for choice, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of comes down to,
Yeah.
you might bust her back out sometime soon, and then be like, "Oh yeah, I forgot that I can do these things with her," and then you might use her for a while.
Well,
I don't know.
so
She was never one of my favorite models.
I always hated playing against her.
She looks like a slug.
Oh, you mean visually she's not one of your favorites?
Correct. I'm
Yeah.
all about the aesthetic, man. Come on.
it is a nice little niche that she fills because she can do multiple things. Like she's decent enough at CQB in a weird way,
Mm-hmm.
and she's also pretty good anti-tank.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good.
Pretty damn good.
Although when with the introduction of Flame being a more common commonplace on the board, she's taken quite a beating from that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not a lot of dual purpose units in the PHR, and she is one.
Yeah, she's a Swiss knife, army knife, I would say. So, but and then she gets the Triton X with her. So,
Which again is meh, because it's white nano machines are only good for her. Man, I've been muting myself when I cough, and you have to go put your lung butter all over us.
I'm so sorry that crept up on me. So, but anyway, back to and then for Fleet, there's also another big thing there too, and it's also bringing something new to the game.
Oh, Jesus.
That we it's going to take a while to sort that out as well, because it's again there's something very brand new, not only to Fleet but the Zone and Fleet collectively that they don't have something like this. So
let me, and if I get my beta card taken away for this, I guess get my beta card taken away for this. But you said that, and I had completely forgotten about it. That's how much crap we've been working on for Zone.
yeah.
And it's cool. I mean, the people that are like, "Oh, there hasn't been a release in so long." There hasn't been, but oh my God, there's so much on that horizon that we really need to be able to start talking about.
Yeah, very, very soon. Very, very soon. We're still kind of hoping to go to print real soon here. So lots to do still, of course. Pressure's on for our end to really get these things going. And it's going to be crunch time, but you know what? These things are going to be good. We want them to be right. And especially with the Fleet stuff going to print, unlike some of the Zone units, it's more important that we get those right. So
yeah, it's the sheer volume of stuff. I mean, is this all supposed to be out this year?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
So you remember when we had Dave on, and he made the comment about there being more models ready to come out than phase 1 and 2 combined?
Yeah.
It was not hyperbole.
No, there is a ton. And that's just the models too. And then we start talking into the like things like missions and campaigns and all that kind of stuff that we're going to be getting into this stuff. There's going to be well over a year, about a year and a half's worth of stuff before people should be getting bored with any of these things. Hopefully.
It is an exciting time to be a fan of this franchise, and I'm really excited about some of the stuff coming down the pipe. Like I said, I really just wish they would open that floodgate and let the community know what's going on.
And I mean, TT in general. I mean, except with the all the Battle for Us stuff, of course. Then Carnivale is now finally for sale for everybody. Now you can get it off our website, and anybody that's stocking it.
Rumble Slam sold out at Adepticon, right?
Rumble Slam sold out at Adepticon.
Was that 24 people?
24 people, yeah. So that's going to be fun. Hopefully that kind of builds up throughout the year. Maybe we can get some real fun things going for that next year. So that's definitely taken on some popularity. New stuff coming out from that as well. I know of the next expansion and what that might entail. So that's going to be, I'm actually looking forward to that one the most.
Well, we've had 2 expansions for that now, right? We had Back Alley Brawl, and then we just had the ref thing, didn't we?
Yeah, so Back Alley Brawl, but the new dynamics into the game of having items and things like that. So that's fun. Kind of brings the street element into it. And then the ref pack also, not only did it bring fun refs, but it also brought the pinning rules. So that's, now you have a couple different ways you can play the game. And then the next one is going to be, I would say it's more comparative to Back Alley Brawl, in that it brings.
Are you allowed to talk about this?
I don't even know entirely what it's going to contain myself, so I don't want to say too much. And yeah, it's not exactly how it is, but it's sort of along those routes where I would say it's a combination of the two. It's going to be ways to play it and items as well. So.
And we've got a horde of new MDF coming out. Are we getting more of the Resin Scenic stuff that they've been doing?
I would imagine so.
There are several pieces of that I'm still considering picking up. Several that I've used that I've absolutely loved. I think TT's heading in the right direction. I think there's a lot of really positive things coming out of them over the next several months. They just need to advertise more.
Yeah. And we got to get the distros out here doing more. So we'll get there. Hopefully when popularity rises here in the States, it'll kind of get people knocking on our door a bit more. So,
well, we're closing in on the hour runtime that we typically shoot for. So do we want to bounce into the upcoming events and start wrapping things up?
Yeah, we can absolutely do that.
All right. So end of the month here in about 2 weeks, Josh up in Cleveland, Overlord Shivak. He's got a new mission pack. He's prepping for Adepticon. Jordan, are we going?
Trying to.
Jordan and I are trying to go. I'm going basically if Jordan's going. If he's not going, then it's Cleveland. No one wants to go to Cleveland.
It's all the way across the state.
That's where Howard the Duck got stuck. So if Jordan and I make it there, Don's already like, I'm skipping because I'm too cool for this school.
No, I really wanted to go. March is...
That's like 5 hours for you to get there, though, isn't it?
Plus, March is just insane for me.
This is January, Don.
Yeah. Or, I mean, March. March is insane for me. So
this is January.
I know, but I'm trying to save up.
Wife aggro?
Yeah.
Understand. So Jordan and I might
actually, one thing I want to add to that is that we could potentially be playtesting some drop fleet errata stuff at that tournament.
What? That sounds like something beta testing groups would do.
Yeah, so we'll I don't know how much of what we've been working on Josh wants to incorporate into his player pack, so we'll see. But stress test is always good, and tournaments are always good for that. So,
well, obviously, Overlord Shivak, who has graced our show a couple of times, will be there running it. Also, the Swede will be there playing. So, there'll be some Command Value 1 presence there. If Jordan and I go, it'll be a pretty sound CV1 presence. We're going to claim the Swede as part of our team so we can win. LVO, you guys, 2/3 of Command Value 1 will be there because my wife won't let me go to Vegas. Jordan is going to be drinking, whoring, and using all sorts of illegal drugs. He'll probably come back diseased and married.
I feel like it's going to be like Kingpin. I'm Woody Harrelson. Jordan is the Amish dude.
Don, what is going on at LVO? There are Jeff is running events out there. Yes.
Yeah, we had a bit of a scare because nobody was signing up for him, but last minute he pulled through and got some people signed up, so our events were saved. We'll be doing Fleet and Zone respectively, and then Jordan and I will be booth babying it, making sure everybody has the stuff they want. I believe we will have terrain.
Are you taking the full range there, or is it going to be a limited selection?
It'll be a limited selection. I think
Will
we're going to.
People be able to reach out to you and pre-order some select product before the actual event?
Yeah, unfortunately not, because LVO is a hard one for us because we got to fly everything there and ship everything there, and it's not one of those where I can just take stuff home with me, because unfortunately there's a $50 limit on your bag. Ooh. Or a 50-pound limit, on your bag when you. So, yeah, we're gonna have limited stock, but I think we're gonna be primarily focusing on the terrain aspect of that, because there's so many different game systems being played there that I think that's our best bet to do good on sales.
So a lot of terrain and a handful of items, of starters.
For show only stuff, some things like that. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then we'll also be pushing Carnivale for the first time in the States there as well. So.
Ooh. I still haven't even looked at a starter set yet.
I know it's not as much demoing there, of course, either.
Yeah, we'll just have one table of each. Only during the times the vendor hall's open, so it's a bit more low key tournament. It's like Adepticon light in that sort of respect. Well,
coming up in March after LVO is CincyCon. Don, are we doing CincyCon? Are we going to Jordan's house? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I have it on the calendar.
The entirety of Command Value 1's team will be live at CincyCon. So last year there was only 4 of us, and I came in worst place. Woo! Go me, man! That was the start of my decline. I haven't been any good since then. And then, of course, just a week or two after CincyCon is Adepticon in March.
Yeah, in between that, I also have the Gamma Trade Show. So that's the industry-only one out in Arena.
Your March does suck, doesn't it?
Yeah, I got a lot going on in March. So that's my first time doing that show, so it's going to be interesting.
Well, unless I win the lottery, it'll still be 2/3 of the Command Value 1 team running Adepticon. You and Jordan will be out there again.
Yep.
Overlord Chivak will be running Fleet. Jordan, you're going to be running Zone. Anything you want to say about the Zone tournament?
Other than I need to get working on the tournament packet, no.
You're a horrible human being, Jordan.
Yeah, we got Alex running the Rumble Slam tournament for us, graciously running that for us.
Good. I like Alex. We don't see him enough.
Yeah, he's a good dude. And then hoping to secure a little bit of open play space for Carnivale, just for some open play so people can bring their stuff and have fun with the game as well. Plus, it doesn't hurt to have that being played while people walk around, get a bit more interest going. Well,
and then in June of this year, Origins. I have submitted both of the events for Origins. I'll be running both of those. I am doing 3-round escalation tournaments. So round 1 is going to be a 500-point game. Round 2 is going to be a 1,000-point game, and round 3 is going to be a 2,000-point game. Both games will do this. You'll bring 3 separate lists. I gotta get my tournament packs around for that, but I'm also going to have some overlaps. So Fleet is on Friday. And there are going to be sectors in every game that will be relevant to a zone game the next day. So, for example, this industrial sector might be one of the actual drop zone maps you're playing on. I'm not telling anybody what those sectors are. What will happen is at the end of every round, I will have a debriefing with the players to see what they took on the table so I can document, and then there will be bonuses to their forces based off of what they did.
Okay.
So, yeah. I'm going to try to make it a little more interesting, a little more narrative. It won't be anything huge. So, if there's, use an example of like a orbital laser, right? And you hold the orbital laser, then you might have a squad of infantry starting that orbital laser on the next game.
Sweet.
So
then for that, we also have, I still have to submit it, but Rumble Slam tournament, and I believe Alex is going to help us out again this year with that.
Cool.
And then hopefully whip something up for Carnivale, but I'm kind of waiting on HQ to send me some guidelines on how to run an event for that yet. And then personally after that, in fact, the weekend after Origins, June 22nd is the Rust Belt Ruckus over in Cleveland, which is a huge 60-player Infinity tournament, 4 rounds, 1-day event. And I will be running a booth there with terrain, anything Infinity related that we have. I'll be trying to peddle onto other people.
I was going to say, when did you start playing Infinity?
I've played very little Infinity, but I sell stuff for the game. So
yeah, I've played a few games of Infinity. I like it. I just haven't gotten back to the group that I was playing it with. Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. So if any of our listeners are in the States and like playing Infinity, this is going to be a pretty big tournament, and it's going to sell out pretty quickly. So if you're interested in that, it's Rust Belt Ruckus. There's a Facebook group for it. And that's June 22nd over in Cleveland. So,
well, and finally, it's not on the list, but obviously August, Gen Con.
Yeah.
Jordan will be there. Don will be there. I'm trying to see if I can get my ass there at all. I'd like to be there, but we shall see.
We should have hopefully all the new goodies. All the new TT goodies should hopefully be there. So
by Origins,
CincyCon. No, by Gen Con. I mean, so if you are going to Gen Con, hopefully our booth will be a pretty good stop for you. Certainly more than last year, anyway. So,
hey Don.
Yes.
Can I get like all the sweet new stuff that's coming out before it comes out, so I can have it painted up for Gen Con?
Maybe. See how soon I get it.
I mean, I know you won't want to display it in the case, but
demo set.
Get out of here.
Demo, meaning Don's gonna demo it with a hammer. You call that painted?
But yeah, that's a lot of stuff. And then after that is, let's see, we're trying to get in over at totally blanking here, over in DC.
PAX?
No, we're doing PAX for sure. But before that is
Captain Con, CanCon.
No, that's same weekend as LVO.
Nova,
thank you. Yeah, totally blanking on that. Trying to get in over Nova. They actually did so well last year that their vendor space sold out on site.
And then November, we're going to go do Pentacon in Indianapolis or Fort Wayne.
What? I haven't never even heard of that one.
That was a joke.
Okay.
it is a real convention. We used to go to Pentacon pretty regularly, but it's more RP, and it's still going, isn't it, Jordan?
Maybe. I think so. But as far as Fort Wayne gaming conventions, it's been overshadowed by Winter Fantasy big time.
Has it?
Uh,
It was like a CincyCon size event, Don.
Okay. I mean, that's fine. That's pretty decent size for a local thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You just kept throwing out names. I was just throwing out a joke there.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Then we have the Michigan GT in October, which is shaping up, if talks go well, to be possibly the U.S. TTCon location. So,
well, that's convenient for you.
What?
I said, well, that's convenient for you.
It is convenient for me. That's exactly why we chose that.
Even if it's not the official TTCon, that's still a hell of a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like the semi-official one already. So.
All the important people are there.
That's right.
From the Midwest.
I had some of the best turnout for the entire year, so
it did too. It was a good time.
Yeah, if we can work that in as TTCon, then we'll have it'll be in conjunction with it, and we'll have our own space and stuff like that. So
if you can stay sober with Patrick there, you're doing good.
Yeah. Or Josh. Josh is the instigator. So
that's how he gets the brain jelly in you.
That's right, Overlord trying to and you wake up in a bathtub full of ice, and you
and you have a black jellyfish up your nose. You'll know what happened to you.
Tattoo on your forehead.
Right. So then we have PAX after that, which I'm actually excited for. So
when's PAX?
That is this year. It was in technically end of November, first weekend of December. It kind of ran into each other. So that's very late in the year. That was in Philly, and I think it's probably going to stay in Philly. So the few people I talked to that went this year said that the event ran really well, and that the venue was really, really good. So I don't see them moving from that one.
Awesome. Oh, that's it, right?
And hopefully that's it for my year. Hopefully that's it.
So plenty of places to get you your event exclusives. Once we get to the middle of the year, plenty of stops to grab all the shiny new stuff.
Yep.
And plenty of places to come out and talk to some of us if you're a regular listener.
Yeah, and plenty of events if you want to run something. Mm-hmm. All you have to do is hit us up. If you're interested in running events for a show, I mean,
if you really want to run Origins, Don will happily make me work the booth.
Well, you came up with some weird idea, so now you have to run it.
Oh, is that the key? If I just keep coming up with weird ideas?
Yeah, that sounds complicated. You do that.
Well, and with more and more games that you're supporting, that requires a bit more knowledge on the booth side of things, as far as running a good demo. It's one thing to run demos for the drop zone games, but it's a lot to ask of some people to be able to demo 6 different games competently.
Yeah, it does get pretty tough. And speaking of which, I'm glad you brought it up. If anybody of our listeners are interested in running demos at any of our shows, we do give a booth credit for anybody that wants to help out. We are typically asking for a 4-hour block of time, and then it'll give you some booth credit as compensation for that. So if you're looking to score a couple free models, or maybe a little discount on a bigger one for helping us out for half a day or whatever, then feel free to hit us up through the Command Value 1 site, email the TT Combat site, or you can get a hold of me directly here, since I do all the US stuff, at hawktalondon@gmail.com. Hopefully I'll get a new email address soon, more appropriate to the current company, but there it is.
Yeah, it's really hard to create yourself a new Gmail account, Don.
I get all that information coming into this one, so
I will say,
forward that account, Don.
I could, yeah.
It is nice getting a personal viewpoint of the community as well. It kind of gets you out of your local comfort zone, and you kind of see a lot of other people that play the games and different viewpoints, and you can put some faces to names sometimes too, depending on how active you are on the internet community for the games.
Right, yeah. And also, I mean, at the end of a show, if you help us out for an entire weekend, you're going to be pretty good at running a demo. So if you're looking to build up the local scene and you want some practice, you can get as much as you want in a whole week.
And on top of all of that, I may be biased, but we're a pretty delightful crew to hang out with, and it's a good time.
Yeah, so enough patting ourselves on the back there. Let's wrap this one up.
All right. Well, Don, do you have any final thoughts?
I just hang on a little longer out there for all the zone guys. Trust me, man. I really wish that we would have gotten these things out sooner, but it's a lot of work to put into this, and I really hope everybody enjoys it. This will be the first major release that I've had a big hand in, and hopefully I haven't messed it up for you guys.
Jordan, you got any final thoughts?
No.
You never do.
No, I don't.
Well, I'll echo what Don said. There is so much cool stuff in that pipe that's just waiting to come out. And it is. It's hard to keep it quiet sometimes. But yeah, please, whatever media you grab our podcast from, if you would give us a like, a review, a share, just to kind of point others in our direction and help grow the sphere of influence of the cast, we'd appreciate it. Other than that, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
All right, see you
Bye,
guys.
See you.